All right, so my name is Keron Matthias, and I'm your instructor for this evening as we go through a series of topics which will help us to understand the psychology of selling. The psychology of selling. And it's very important that we understand the psychology of selling. All right, very, very important that we do understand this. Now, we talked about two important topics yesterday. We talked about one, doing whatever it takes. And we understand that our best is not going to be good enough. Right? People are only the best is good enough, our best is not good enough. And we also talk about consistency, and we learned that consistency comes through accountability. Right? Consistency comes through accountability. We managed to learn that. Now, here's the deal. There's this lady. She joined our network marketing opportunity, right? And when she joined, she was like over 60 pounds overweight, lethargic, and lack motivation to move. But what she saw in her business, the business opportunity that she joined at the time, was her path to a better life financially. She saw her path to better health. And she realized that within the realm of herself, there was no way that she was going to make it in that opportunity. There was no way she was going to make it. So she realized no matter how great she did within the realm of herself, it wouldn't work. So she upped to do better than her best. She upped to do whatever it takes. So what she did thereafter was unprecedented. She got up early in the morning, and this lady is not a morning person. She got up early in the morning, started working out. She changed her diet, completely changed her diet from what she used to eat to everything that will get her aligned with her goals. She started taking the products from her company, which did amazing things for her health. And she motivated herself and invested heavily in personal development. As a result of that, she ended up developing a monster of a person in terms of her work ethic, in terms of her mindset, and challenged herself to do way better than her best. She did whatever it took. And in doing whatever it took, she was able to become a multi-million-dollar earner in her company. She purchased her own home, cash, no loans. She purchased a Ferrari, cash, no loans. She purchased a Mercedes G-Wagon, cash, no loans. And she purchased several other properties thereafter that she have rental properties and other things. Cash, no bank loans. All right? She built herself up from the ground, cash, on her own efforts, because she realized that within the realms of herself, it wasn't going to work. So she did whatever it took. I want to talk to you guys about two things today. First thing, discipline. You see, self-discipline, folks, and as the word says, self-discipline, that means it is imposed by you. It is one of the hardest things to achieve. One of the hardest things. However, once achieved, it can bring you to your full potential in life. Self-discipline. You see, the discipline, in my definition, is defined as being able to control one's self. Being able to control oneself. And that's the hardest thing to do. It is easier to control or try to control somebody else than it is to control yourself. People oftentimes tell people to do things that they are not doing themselves. And I'm going to put my hand up. I'm very guilty of that. Right? People tell people to do what they're not doing themselves. Because it is very, very difficult to control oneself. However, we all see that once discipline is imposed upon oneself, the world is at your feet. For example, an athlete that is achieving the highest of what's possible, right? One may ask, what's the difference between a Lionel Messi or a Cristiano Ronaldo in the football world from everybody else that's in the football world? These guys require a higher discipline of themselves, a higher demand, performance of themselves than anybody else. Michael Jordan once said, he demands more of himself than any coach demanded of him. And as a result of that, what Michael Jordan did, he got up earlier than everybody else. He was there at training before everybody else. He started working on things that he may found himself weak in before anybody else arrived. And when everybody else left, guess what Michael Jordan was doing? He was still there working. He demanded more of himself than any other coach could demand of him. And Michael Jordan's name will go down as one of the greatest persons who have ever played the game of basketball. Usain Bolt, back in 2007, when he was beaten by Tyson Gay at the World Championships, he was whooped in the 200 meters. He came second. And he said to himself, and he said this in many interviews, that guy will never beat me again. Never. And as a result of that, he demanded more of himself than anybody else could demand of him. And we saw the end result of that. Self-discipline is what will help you, once achieved, to have self-integrity, integrity to yourself, to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it. Self-discipline is what helps you to be accountable to yourself. True self-discipline, right? You say, I'm going to get this done, and you ensure that it is done. So when you set your calendar, when you set your timetable up, you set up your timetable, and through self-discipline, you follow step by step, because it is easy to set up a timetable. Easy. The hard part is to follow it. That's the hard part. So once you're able to set up your calendar and then now follow it step by step and stick to your schedule or your schedule, as Aisha would like to say, then you'll be able to achieve greatness. Self-discipline. All right? And the next thing that is very, very important, focus. Focus. Guys, I'm just getting warmed up. We're designing the mindset that is needed before I go into everything. I'm going to go into the how to, the why to, the what to. I'm going to go into all of that. But we have to have these things down. I want you guys to write these things down. Focus. Follow one course until successful. Focus. It is important to focus, to lock in, to zoom in. And the timetable helps focus. When you create a timetable, so for example, on your timetable, you have it that, okay, my goal is to speak to 10 people per day. And you have it. I'm going to speak to 10 people per day, and my hours are going to be 5 hours that I'm going to be working my business. So I'm going to speak to 2 people per hour about my business. That's part-time. I want to show you something, guys. If your part-time is talking to 2 people per day, 2 people per hour for 5 hours, 10 people per day, and you're focused at making that happen, at the end of a week, 5-day week, you'd have spoken to 50 people. That sounds simple, right? Very simple, right? If it sounds simple, please drop it in the chat box or in the comment section. If it sounds like a simple task, I'm going to show you how simple it is. Drop it in the chat box or in the comment section if it sounds like a simple task. Speaking to 2 people per hour for 5 hours, that's 10 people per day, that's 50 people per week. It's simple. A lot of people are not doing that. People approach a business on a I feel like basis. And if as simple as speaking to 2 people per hour for 5 hours can get your business all the way to the top, if you do that for 5 years, I'm going to show you. All the way to the top of the mountain. But a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people will only talk to people based upon how they're feeling. Self-discipline is in alignment with your purpose. I remember we talked about feeling and purpose being enemies, right? Now, if your mindset is that I'm going to focus on speaking to 2 people per hour for 5 hours every day, at the end of a week, 5-day week, you spoke to 50 people. At the end of a 4-week month, you'd have spoken to 200 people. 200 people got exposed to your business within a month. If you have 200 people that get exposed to your business within a month, remember you're part-time doing this business. 200 people got exposed to your business within a month, within 30 days, right? 4 weeks, according to the calendar, or the saying. And 10% of that 400, 10%, let's say 5%, let's not say 10%, let's say 5%. You spoke to 400 people and 5% decided to make a purchase. 5% of 400, that's 20. 20 people that you'd have sold to in that one particular month. 20 people. Let me ask you guys this question. How many of you on here had 20 customers last month or 20 customers the month before? How many of you guys? Please drop that in the chat box. That's 5%. I'm going to go to the chat box right now. How many of you guys had 20 customers last month or the month before? Please drop it in the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box right now. Please go to the chat box. Let me log in right here. I'm going to be following on the chat. But you can go ahead and drop it in the comment section. How many? Lady Francesca said, not me. Okay, Lady Francesca. I love your honesty. I'm heading to the chat box, folks. I'm in the chat box. Come on. How many of you guys? Okay, Lady Rutan, you didn't have 20 customers. Who else? Who else had 20 customers or didn't have 20 customers? Come on, let me know. Who else? Who else? Who else? Come on, guys. Let's do this real quick. Go into the chat section real quick. Run to that chat section real quick. Let me see. All right, so Roman, he didn't have 20 customers either. Come on, run to the chat section, folks. I want to see all of you guys. Let's quickly respond to this message. How many people we have on here? We have 12 people on here. Come on now. Run to the chat section real quick. How many of you guys, real quick? So watch this. Watch this now. If you're speaking to, you guys didn't have questions. 20 customers. Let me ask you, how many of you guys focused and locked in and talking to 2 people per hour? Just 2 people per hour for 5 hours. 2 new people per hour for 5 hours. It can be online. It can be walking up to people and say, hi, quick question. Who do you know I would be interested in losing 5 to 7 pounds after tummy within 5 days? It can be as simple as that. And I'm going to show you guys how you can talk to as many people as possible. How many of you guys did that? Speak to 2 people, lock in to talk to 2 new people per hour for 5 hours. 2 random strangers. 2 new people from your Facebook friends list. 2 new people from your TikTok. Social media. Okay. All right, so Lady Francesca, you did indirectly. So you spoke to over 400 people last month and you didn't get 20 new customers. That's what you're saying, Lady Francesca? You spoke to them via social media and you didn't get, you spoke to you targeted 5 hours per day. Okay. Not for 5, okay. All right, so now we have a strategy. Look at that. We have a strategy. The strategy is you're doing the business part-time. You see that? That don't even take up much of your time. Like you're even at work. You say, okay, I'm gonna talk to 2 new people. Hi, quick question. Who do you know that would be interested in losing 5 to 7 pounds of the tummy within 5 days? Within the interest of time. Person may say me, or I don't know anybody. Say, okay, thank you very much. Moving right along, but that person count as somebody you spoke to. Right? All you know is that does count. That does count. So you're speaking to 2 people per day. I break it down in the simplest form. You're doing the business part-time, 2 people per hour for 5 hours. 400 people per day. Per month. 400 people per month. But watch this. Look at the bigger picture. Remember we talked about 5 years. I'm going to show you some numbers today, guys. We talked about 5 years. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see the power of the compound effect. Watch this. Talk about, let's go to a year first, right? You're speaking to 400 people per month for 12 months. 400 people per month for 12 months, that's 4,800 people you would have spoken to. 4,800 people. Now, if I convert this, 4,800 times 0.05, that would be 240. 240 people. Let's say 240 people who would have done business with you from that 4,800 people that you'd have spoken to. 5% of the number, right? 240. Of this 240, let's say 40 people decided to partner with you in business and 200 people remain customers. Now, here's a flip side to this. You see, from these 200 people that you have as customer, you're going to have people that are going to recommend people to you. You're going to have people that are going to become a lot of repeat customers. And then for the 40 people who joined you in business during the course of that particular year, you're going to show them how they can do the same thing. And that 40 people are going to talk to just the amount of people And think about this, it's 40 people doing the same thing, getting 40 people each. Who is doing the same thing? And the same thing is happening, right? And the same thing that's happening, you're gonna have a team within a year. Within a year. That's maxing the charts if you focus on this. Because it's 240 folks. It's a very modest number. Because you're going to be leveraging. Customers are going to be recommending customers. Customers are going to be sharing their results. People are going to be talking to their family members. People are going to, opening up your business to a next level. So I'm keeping it, I'm simplifying it, and I'm keeping it modest. This is as modest as it can get. As truly modest as it can get. Think about I want you guys to understand that if you should focus on this, just this simple game of numbers, and you do this for 5 years, I'm going to show you your numbers for 5 years. And this is going to be so modest. 5 years, right? You're talking to 4,000. Let's do that number again. 400 times 12, 4,800 people times 5 years. That's 24,000 people you'd have spoken to in 5 years. 5 years. Remember, whatever job you're doing now, right? I'm sure like, if you're on here, you've been working now for more than 5 years. Let me just see you show a raise a hand, or just type I in the chat box. If you've been working for more than 5 years, if you've been working for more than 5 years, just say I. Just type I in the chat box real quick, or in the comment section real quick. Just type I. More than 5 years. You've been consistently working for more than 5 years. And working for more than 5 years, are you financially free? Are you earning the lifestyle and the income that you want to earn? Let me know that. And if you're doing this, if you're focused on doing this for 5 whole years, it's simply enough. 2 people per hour for 5 hours. You're working in business 5 hours per day. We have spoken to 24,000 people. Let's get the numbers in. 24,000 times 0.05. We're getting 5%. That's 1,200 people. 1,200 people who would have decided to do business with you. 1,200 people. So for 5 years, let's break the numbers down. So that 1,200, from the 1,200, let's say 500 people. 500 from the 1,200 decided to partner up with you. That means you have 700 customers personally. So from that 500 who partner up with you, they are doing the same thing as well and expanding their business. Think about how many people would be in business with you. Your team would be growing exponentially large. So you see why I told you guys your best will never be good enough. You have to do what it takes. Because your best is not 5 hours per, talking to 2 new people 5 hours per day. And I know a lot of people will be very uncomfortable in speaking to 2 new people per hour for 5 hours per day. A lot of people will be uncomfortable, so you're gonna have to come outside of yourself. You're gonna have to step outside of yourself in order to achieve greatness. All right? That's 700 customers you personally have after 5 years based on these modest numbers. Based on these modest numbers. But let me show you how these numbers can get crazy. These 700 people, you're having repeat customers from them, and you have people who are recommending people. Let's say from these 700 people, right? 300 of them carry 5 new customers each. From these 700 people, 400 people just buy over the years and stuff. And from the 400 people, people see their results and people, ask them how they get it and what have you. But let's break it down and say 300 of these 700 people over the years brought 5 new customers to you. 300 times 5, that would be 1,500 customers, new customers. 1,500 new customers indirectly. Indirectly. You'd have gotten these people indirectly. You see the power of numbers? It's powerful. But then from these 1,500 people, 500 of them did the same thing. Brought 5 customers to you each. Right? 500 of them brought 5 customers to you each. So let's do those numbers. 500 times 5. That's another 2,500 customers over the 5 years. That would have been added to this. Folks, you see where I'm going with these numbers? Plus, from this, you'll have other people who will be joining in business and so on and so forth. But you have to ignite the flame. You have to ignite the flame. Folks, are you seeing this? If you're seeing this, type I. If you're seeing what I'm saying, just type I. It will require for you to start by igniting the flame. Right? And that's what focus does. You have to be disciplined and you have to be focused. It is important. It is important. It is very important. Very, very, very important. Right? Focus. Let's be disciplined and be focused in our task. I'm telling you, I'm just prepping you guys up for what's about to come. The psychology of sales. The psychology of sales. The mind of sales. Let's build a massive team. It just discipline. And let me tell you, that's part-time. Part-time numbers. It sounds so mind-boggling and it's only part-time. Full-time people should be doing minimum 30. And if you're doing minimum 30 and you're full-time per day, 30 per day means 3 people per hour for 5 hours. Right? 3 people per hour for 5 hours. That's 30 people per day. You're the 3 people per hour, every hour on the hour. No, that's 6 people, sorry, per hour. 6 people per hour for 5 hours. 6 people per hour for 5 hours. That's 30 people. Or you can say, I'm going to talk to 3 people per hour for 10 hours. Because you're full-time. So if you work in your full-time business 10 hours per day, how many hours you work your job? How many hours you work your job? I do that and I see my sales just going through the roof. Right? I do that and I see my sales go through the roof. So you want to be focused and locked in. 6 people per hour for 10 hours. And if you're talking to 30 people per day full-time, that's 150 people in a 5-day week, which makes it 600 people in a month. 600 people in a month, which would be 7,200 people that you'd have spoken to in a calendar year. You guys see that? 7,200 in a calendar year. That's powerful. And that's who you'd have spoken to directly. Let's not talk about the indirect referrals that will come from people telling people. And I know some of us are not doing this as yet, and we're getting a lot of referrals. If you get referrals in your business from people who would have tried the products, just type I have. Type I have in the chat box. If you have gotten referrals from people who would have sold the products, if you have gotten a phone call from somebody saying, yo, I got your number from so-and-so, and I'd like to have that product, or I'd like to have that, the tea or the pill or what have you. If you have got that, just type I have. Just go to the chat box and type I have. Right. So you get a lot of indirect referrals, a whole lot. It'll come a dime a dozen. Yeah. So can you imagine if you're talking to 7,200 people for the year, how many indirect referrals will come? How many people will join you in business? How far and how wide your reach will be? And remember, there's over 8 billion, with a B, 8 billion people on this earth. And people are being born every single day. It is. It is. But we know that the simplest things are oftentimes not easy, right? It just takes focus. It just takes that lock-in mind, focus, and stick-to-itiveness to make it happen. That's how simple the business is. Some people overcomplicate it, but it is simple. It is simple. So tomorrow I'm going to come and talk about exactly what we should say to these people. Exactly what we're going to say, step by step. So I'm giving it to you guys, you know. So it's not for you to take it and do what you may with it. I'm going to tell you what you ought to say. I'm going to even give you a script. So you're going to have what you need to go there and what you need to say to the people. So it's going to become even easier, Lady Francesca. All right. So if you're struggling, just know why you're struggling, because you're not doing this. So you're getting the formula now. All right. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being on here today. Again, you know, it's always my pleasure to be here, to share with you guys, so that we, you know, can help each other to grow and bless the lives of people all over the globe. I know there's so many things that you could have been doing with your time, but you chose to invest your time into yourselves and your personal development by being here. All right. So I want to thank you guys again. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. This call is officially over.